What's going on, guys? Today I'll be ranking every single NHL number one centerman on a tier list. Now, last week I actually did this with number one defenseman. I gotta give a quick update because I saw your guys' comments. I rethought some things.
We fucked up.
So I made 4 changes. The first was Morgan Rielly down to below average. I think I was being a little bit too nice there for whatever reason. Second and third, I got Bouchard and Sanderson up from mid to good. And then finally, Zach Werenski there from good to elite. I thought he was elite, but I didn't want to be like too biased. I met him a couple times, so I like him. I think that just sometimes happens. Like I'm trying to be, too unbiased. And everyone said, you know what? No, he deserves to be in elite. So I moved him up there. Hopefully now everyone's happy with that list. Obviously, I made some controversial choices, so we'll see what happens today with the number one centers. Now, obviously, guys, like last time, there are a few guys here that are wrong. I'm just using somebody else's tier list they made. We do have the same tiers, though. Superstar, elite, good, mid, and below average. So, starting off, Mikael Backlund here is actually going to be Kadri. Now, whether it's Backlund or Kadri, I think he'll be in the below average. Backlund would be like very below average, where I think Kadri is still just slightly below average at this point in his career. After that, they have Leo Carlsson for the Ducks. Their number one centerman is actually Ryan Strome. Either way, I think, again, you're going to be below average, whether it is Carlsson or Ryan Strome. After that, I saw they had Barrett Hayton here in for Utah. Now, he was their 1C last year. This season, though, it's been Logan Cooley. I would say Hayton's definitely below average, but Logan Cooley, I would have in the mid for number one centerman. I think he's actually taken a big step this season. Last year, Cooley probably would have been below average. And then finally here, you might notice JT Miller. Obviously, this is for the Canucks. We'll now have him as the Rangers 1C because I think they kind of alternate between Zibanejad and Trocheck. If I'm wrong, Rangers fans, I apologize. This does make it a little bit easier, though. And then Zibanejad here, we're actually going to take out, and we're going to put PD in. PD's a really tough one. Obviously, he's been elite at certain points in his career. At this point, though, I think he's just a good number 1C. And hopefully for Canucks fans' sake, he can kind of get back to that elite level. But those are the only 4 changes I think we're making. The rest of these guys, I think, are the correct 1Cs. So starting off here with Sebastian Aho. I think Aho's really good. I wouldn't say he's elite, though. So Aho, again, will be in that good tier. After that, you got Alexander Barkov here. I think Barkov is definitely elite. One of, if not like the best two-way center in the game, especially with, Bergeron now being retired. So I think most people would agree with Barkov in that spot. After that, Connor Bedard there with Chicago Blackhawks. So Bedard's really tough. I think Bedard obviously has the potential to be elite, if not superstar 1C. Right now, though, I don't even know if I would go as far to say he's good. Right now, I'd say he's probably mid. There might be even some people that say he's a below average 1C right now. I think mid, though, is fair for him. The same ranking there as Logan Cooley. And again, I think Bedard's got that, super high ceiling. You can get even better. After that, Matty Beniers. Beniers hasn't really been that great this season. His best season arguably was his rookie season. In terms of number one centerman, I think Matty Beniers is below average. I think on a contending team, Matty Beniers is your 2C. If, Seattle fans disagree, let me know. But he's got like a decent two-way game. I think, play power play, can play PK. But Beniers, on a contending team, I think you want him as your second line center, not your number one guy. And after that, guys, you got Macklin Celebrini. So kind of like, Connor Bedard. Right now, he's obviously nowhere near his potential. It's his rookie season. I do think, though, he's had a very strong rookie season. I saw... I think it's like top 3, at least top 5 points per game for a rookie. So for that reason, he's at least mid, tied with Cooley Bedard. Now, is he as high as a good 1C on par there with, Elias Pettersson, Sebastian Aho? I don't think he's quite there yet. I still think, for a rookie season being, already an average 1C, I think that's actually a pretty big accomplishment. As again, this should be like his floor, right? He should only be getting better and better from here on out. Sean Couturier, another good, two-way forward center there with the Flyers. At this point in his career, I would say he's below average. I know, Torts was scratching him some games, was tough for the captain. Still pretty good defensive game, doesn't really have that offensive side. I think below average is fair. Dylan Strome here. So this one's kind of tough. Dylan Strome, of course, is having a very good season right now with the Washington Capitals, and that entire team is having career years. Having said that, kind of like Beniers on a contending team, which the Capitals are, I would prefer Strome to be my 2C than my 1C. Again, if you had recency bias on him, you would definitely have him at mid. I think over his career, though, he's probably a below average 1C. I might switch this at the end of the video. Next here, we got Elias Lindholm with the Boston Bruins now. I think for sure below average for him. Even years past, he probably would be like a mid 1C at best, but hasn't had a great year. Obviously, him coming in for Boston, they probably expected more, and his lack of play, plus a lot of guys on that team lack of play, is why they found themselves now rebuilding / retooling. Jack Eichel here at the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue if I put him in the elite tier. I think Jack Eichel is very, very good. I think, too, coming back from that injury he had with Buffalo, I feel like he's taking his game to the next level with the Vegas Golden Knights. Big reason why they won the Stanley Cup. He was their best player in the playoffs. I think, Jack Eichel has really shown why he was second overall behind Connor McDavid back in 2015. And now next year, guys, we got Rupe Hintz. I feel like Hintz is pretty much perfect for the good tier. Like, he's a good 1C. He's better than average, but he's definitely not elite. I think when I think of Rupe Hintz, I feel like, honestly, this tier fits him perfectly. And I just noticed, guys, Nico Hischier's in for the Devils as their 1C. Obviously, that's the case right now because Jack Hughes is injured. I think when he's healthy, though, Jack Hughes would be, like, the Devils' 1C. So we'll have him actually be the guy. Now, Jack Hughes, would we say he's elite? He's at least good, that is for sure. I feel like Jack Hughes is elite, honestly. I'd probably have him like low-end elite, and again, he's still quite young. I feel like if anyone disagrees with this, he can definitely prove them wrong over the course of his career. So for right now, though, he will be in that elite tier. Next up here, Bo Horvat. I think Bo Horvat, most people would agree, is probably a below-average 1C. Not a bad player, but again, on a contending team, you probably do want a better centerman as your top guy. And now next up, we got Anze Kopitar with the LA Kings. I feel like during his prime, Kopitar was an elite center. At this point, though, like the dude's in his late 30s. I would say at best, he's still a good 1C. Man, this is tough. He's either good or mid at this point. We'll have him mid for now. And again, maybe I'll make him good. I'm not sure. He's one of the two tiers. It's definitely tough with like an aging player who, like I said, used to be so much better. After that, we got Dylan Larkin. I'm obviously going to be biased. I'm a Red Wings fan. A lot of people say, Larkin is a 2C on a contending team. I feel like you could win with Larkin as your 1C. Now, I definitely do not think he's elite, but I think he's at least a mid 1C, if not a good 1C. This is a tough one. I know I'm going to be biased here. I think Larkin has a better two-way game than all the young guys. Obviously, Kopitar is just as good, if not better. Like, is Larkin more on par with the young guys in Kopitar, or is he more on par with Petey, Aho, Hintz? Oh, this is tough. I think Larkin is a good 1C, and I already know, I know I'm being biased. I think that's where he belongs. And yeah, like I said, I'm biased. I know he's one of my favorite players. Probably number 2 behind McDavid. But yeah, I'm fine with the comments. Next up, Nathan McKinnon. Don't have to overthink it. Superstar. He's one of 2, maybe 3 guys we're going to have in that tier. But I mean, probably won the Art Ross this year, won it last year. One of the best players in the league. No one is going to argue that. Next up, Austin Matthews. So Matthews is an interesting one. Matthews is the kind of guy where he could be elite. Like, he's at least elite, obviously. Maybe superstar. Just for me, is he on that level of Nathan McKinnon, or is he more on the level of Barkov, Eichel, Jack Hughes? This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go elite for Matthews. Think that makes more sense. Reason being, McDavid obviously also is superstar. I think Nathan McKinnon and McDavid are the 2 best players in the league right now. Even though McKinnon had a better season this year, I think he also had a better one last year. We saw McDavid in the playoffs. I would still lean McDavid. I feel like these 2 guys, at least in terms of centermen, are just in another tier of their own. So literally the tier list, I think these 2 are above everybody else. So because of that, I think it does make sense Matthews in elite. But again, this is really close, Leafs fans. Don't worry, he's really close. JT Miller with the Rangers, another tough one. Man, JT Miller is at least mid, if not good. And I would say he's had like an elite season. So does that all kind of narrow down there to JT Miller being a good 1C? Think so. Obviously, Canucks fans probably would have something to say about this. He's a better player, I think, than the young guys are right now. I think he's also, doesn't have the defensive game that Kopitar does, but I think Miller good makes sense. Next up, we got Sean Monahan. So I think Monahan's a solid player, but I don't think anyone would argue that he's a below average 1C. He's having a good year with the Blue Jackets, but obviously Fantilli is who they hope can take over as that 1C, with Monahan being a complimentary 2C. I don't think, they see him as the 1C with them lifting the Stanley Cup, anything like that. Ryan O'Reilly, and again, I think at Ryan O'Reilly's peak, he was probably just good, not even elite. At this point, I wouldn't even say he's a mid 1C. I would say he's below average. Still has that decent defensive game, but below average probably makes sense. I see we got a lot of these guys now. The best one here is probably Dylan Strome, so we might have to bump Strome up. We'll see where we're at by the end of the video. Braden Point, I think, is very, very good. He's at least good. Is Braden Point elite? I think maybe. I think Braden Point, but like, is he as good as Barkov, Eichel, Hughes, and Matthews? Like, that might be a whole nother tier of guy. Maybe Braden Point's just a good 1C. I don't know. That one's tough too. We'll put him there for now. But again, I might change it. Marco Rossi, another good player, but I do think in terms of 1C is below average. We're getting a lot of these guys now, so you know what? Dylan Strom's having a career year. I'm going to be nice, bump him up to mid. I think that's a bit more fair. And then I feel like looking at the rest of these guys, you know, they are below average in terms of a 1C. Mark Scheifele, I think is very, very good. Another guy having a career year. He's at least a good 1C. I would say he's a good 1C. Yeah, when you think of Mark Scheifele, you're fine with him as your 1C. I think the Jets can definitely win a Stanley Cup with him there, but I don't think he's on the level as some of the other guys. Next up, you got Sid the Kid. I mean, obviously, in his prime, is a superstar 1C. He's pushing 40, though, now. I would say at this point, he's elite. If you guys don't think he's elite, I mean, the Penguins are pretty bad. You guys saw what he did at Four Nations with better players. He's still 20 straight seasons point per game. If you don't think Crosby's elite, let me know in the comments. I'm fine with arguing you. Timmy Stützle here. Timmy Stützle. I think Stützle is a solid 1C. I think he's at least mid, and I think he's a good 1C. I think you can definitely win with Stützle as your 1C. That's obviously kind of my barrier for entry. Like, is this guy good enough? You can win Stanley Cup with him. Next up, we have Nick Suzuki. This is going to be a tough one. We look at the names: Petey, Aho, Hintz, Larkin, Miller, Point, Scheifele, Stützle. I think I would take all those guys above Suzuki, so I think I would put him on the mid 1C. I think you could maybe contend with him, but obviously there's a lot of guys in the league that I do think are better. Tage Thompson up next. Obviously, Tage Thompson does sometimes play wing, but we'll allow it. Tage Thompson, I don't think he's quite in that elite tier. I'm going to put Tage Thompson good. I think he's a good 1C. He's better than like these mid guys are. Again, a lot of these guys are going to get better, but I don't think he's quite elite. And then next up, we got Robert Thomas with St. Louis Blues. I think Robert Thomas, honestly, very underrated. Obviously, friend of the channel, so I am a little bit biased here again. I think Robert Thomas is a good 1C. Definitely one of the better playmakers in the league. Now, looking at this, we kind of have too many guys in good and too many guys below average. Do I need to move somebody to mid, somebody up to mid from below average? Honestly, I know I said Rupe Hintz was perfect for good, but I feel like of these centers, he might be the weakest. So I am going to move him down to mid 1C. That still means like an average 1C, but I don't know if he's, you know, as good as the rest of these guys. I also do think Braden Point should be elite, as I mentioned before. Again, just trying to diversify it a little bit here. And then finally, maybe I mentioned Tage Thompson sometimes playing wing because of that. Also, too, like, you know, apart from his one season where he was elite, is he more of a, you know, average 1C? I think right there, kind of perfect. Look at that, like a perfect slope. Then we have McKinnon, McDavid at the top. I think that's where we're going to end it. So yeah, guys, I think I'm locking the list in here. Like I said, I like it. I'm pretty happy with where I have everybody. Let me know in the comments section where I'm wrong. I'm sure, you know, people will tell me I don't know puck. That's what happened last time, even though they were saying that, and then they said they would switch like 2 of 32 players. So, you know, that's still pretty good, like 95% right. I'll take that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.